Hello Sagittarius, Sagittarius Rising, and Sagittarius Moon people. This is your weekly astrological and card horoscope for the week starting August 14th, 2017. And a quick reminder for all of you out there, remember if you ever want to get a session with me, you do need to go to my website, integrativemysticism.com. You can type it into your search bar, or you can make the perilous journey to the links below, and that's where you can schedule an appointment or get a copy of the Tarot Home Study course. So what is going on this week with your astrology? Well, this week is all about Venus. Venus moving through Cancer, your 8th house of shared resources and passive income and intimacy. And on Tuesday, Venus is going to be making a strong opposition to Pluto, currently retrograde in your earned income sector. And whenever we have Pluto and Venus in an opposition, it does appear like there could be some upset regarding insecurities, jealousy, those issues that, some people tend to carry. But because it's happening through practical areas and practical avenues of your astrology chart, this may actually be issues coming up between different agencies or different priorities that you're having going on. When Venus opposes your earned income sector in this way, this can create a problem coming up about a change when it comes to your income that is actually for the better, but it seems to set somebody or some situation off or set something in motion. Sometimes people find out that we're making more money, and so they want to come get more money. Some people find out that we've had a big win or a big windfall, but there may be some jealousy or some issues about you being chosen or you having earned it, and we have to confront those issues. This could be something where, you actually have a gain, but it may actually create a bit of a rift in a work colleague or even a friend, because they may feel passed over. On Thursday, we've got Venus in a square from your 8th house of shared resources and passive income to Jupiter in Libra in your 11th house of friendships and social networking. And this is not actually a bad angle, but we tend to see a bit of pressure come up with squares. And when Venus and Jupiter get into a square, I want you to be very, very careful about maybe investing too much money, time, and energy into an idea that you and a friend are trying to get off the ground right away. Something may actually be more expensive or more time-consuming, no matter how awesome and rewarding it is. And it doesn't necessarily mean that we can't make this a reality, but we definitely don't want to try and go all in all at once. Neither of you do. This could actually be something really, really wonderful, whether it's a big trip, or maybe an investment, a home-based business opportunity, or something where the two of you are definitely going to be giving your careers a big launch. But you have to make sure, again, that we're not binging on it. Sometimes we get Venus and Jupiter in a square, or we get into a binge kind of place, when we really need to be exercising a bit more temperance. So what is going on with your cards this week? Well, for your spiritual advice, we do have the card of the Wren. And the Wren is talking all about, again, a need to pay attention to where we don't want to get too big for our britches too fast, even though we may know what's coming ahead. When we think about the Wren, we think about preparation, we think about awareness, but also at the same time, we talk about handling everything and crossing every, bridge one at a time. Sometimes we get some insight, some preparation with this card about what's to come, whether it's at home or, or professionally or in our spiritual life. We get word of what's coming around the bend. But the Wren is saying it's not happening as fast as you get the news. And so we don't want to necessarily, again, work, to try and take advantage of an opportunity that's not here yet, because it may pull us off the road that gets us there. Stay humble, but also at the same time, keep things in proportion and try not to actually rush fate. For your Earth sector, when it comes to your work and finances, we do have the 7 of Cups upright. And there is going to be a bit of confusion this week, I think, when it comes to, again, office politics. It may feel like we're not necessarily certain which options or opportunities or people we can wholly trust. The problem with the 7 of Cups is that people tend to hide behind things like vagaries or impressionism or subjectivism when it comes to discussing what's on the table. It's kind of like they're doing a lot of talking and yet saying nothing. When we get the 7 of Cups, be very, very mindful when it comes to job interviews and financial arrangements you take on this week. Because if you're making an agreement, signing contracts, which again, Mercury is retrograde in your 10th house of career, you should probably hold that off for a little bit. The Seven of Cups upright can basically say that there may be some kind of fine print that we're missing, or there's something that somebody is leaving out. You know, the Seven of Cups does bring us a lot more options, but they're harder to sift through this week, so I want you to be very careful. For your communications with air, when it comes to your friends, your relatives, and the others in your life, we do have the Five of Wands upright. And you may be noticing a conflict brewing among friends and relatives, and you may not necessarily know how you are going to fit into that role, whether you want to take a side, or if it's every man or every woman for themselves. And this may be a situation where it kind of is the latter. Now, you don't necessarily need to get pulled into this situation, but the Five of Wands upright says do not get involved unless you're ready to throw down. This is not a situation where we are taking sides, or anything like that. Anyone who takes sides is doing so because of a relationship or, you know, a bond bias, and not necessarily because of what is right and what is wrong. In fact, actually what I'm getting from this with the Five of Wands upright is that everyone is kind of getting rattled up, but everyone on some level is in the wrong. It may not necessarily be a wise decision to just throw your hat in out of loyalty. For your challenge this week with fire, we do have the World card reversed. And again, this card is basically saying a lot of things are going to be pushing towards a finish line that doesn't exist. At least not this week. When we get the World card reversed, pay attention to what is started this week is not meant to be finished this week. Sometimes with the World card reversed, we can also see a challenge of having to go back and pore over something that was overlooked. There may be an oversight that comes up this week that needs to actually have some kind of correction or some kind of, you know, quick finish. And the nice thing with the World card reversed is that you got to think of this correction as a second chance. You know, this could actually be a really good opportunity, a really good week for do-overs, retaking tests, and appealing decisions that have been made or taking things off the table, so there is some good to this challenge card, but it may actually also bring up an issue though where, again, it seems to not necessarily be crystallizing or resolving in entirety this week, and so we've got to make sure to practice that patience. For your emotions with water and your romantic life, we do have the Queen of Wands reversed. And this card can indicate a need to pay attention to influences on your relationships this week, whether it's a relationship with a partner, or even influences on your kids, you know, and people you are close to in that respect. Because the Queen of Wands reversed can indicate somebody who is actually pushing an agenda. Now this may be a fire sign like yourself, an Aries, a Sagittarius, or a Leo, and usually when we get her, you know, the Queen of Wands reversed is often talking about somebody who is trying to realize or fix or compensate for some internal or past issues by contriving a special kind of relationship or circumstance to live out. Okay, it's where you get a lot of really high maintenance people coming from. It's where you get people trying to, again, you know, maybe live out some issues. And if this person is creating that in a relationship that you're in, whether it's a friend of yours, kind of acting out or trying to live out some abandonment or jealousy issues, and maybe she just doesn't want you to go into a new relationship, or maybe this is somebody who is, you know, overcompensating for their childhood by maybe getting a little bit too involved with your kids, or, you know, or whatever's going on. Just be careful, again, about external influences actually pushing a lot of that energy into what could otherwise be a very clean space, alright? So that is your horoscope, Sagittarius. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And of course, if you ever want to get a session with me, again, you can follow the links below, or go to integrativemysticism.com.